the Central Asian Women in Tech and Science Week and Startup Mix Conference.
Hello everyone, my name is Diana Tsoy. I'm from Kazakhstan, Tech Women alumni of 2015. I'm an environmental engineer, was working as a consultant for UN projects, for oil and gas, like different projects, and then I got enrolled with the IT sphere as well, mostly in education area, and currently moved to Astana International Financial Center, leading the partnership and mentorship programs and cooperation, like kind of business development for IT companies which are ready to register on the basic of Astana International Financial Center.
I'm Laura Messerschmitt, and I lead the customer experience team at GoDaddy. We're the world's largest domain name provider. I came into it through an acquisition, so I worked at a startup that we got acquired by GoDaddy, and I've been with GoDaddy for about 7 years since.
I'm Rekha Pai-Kamath. I'm an angel investor, seed investor, right now a partner in Silicon Valley Social Ventures, but before that I have an engineering and a product management background, doing mostly product development and marketing.
And Diana, what do you think are some of the stereotypes that women face, women engineers?
Well, definitely there is a stereotype that engineering is for boys only. It's like kind of boys club, which is like hard, which is like boys are more into math, and especially I think in Central Asia it works a lot, meaning that girls should be like doing teaching or medical more things like nurseries, taking care of kids, and but like now it's changing because especially in the big cities, in the capital cities. It becomes more open for women, for girls, and I think that like recent, like maybe 3 to 5 years, it's changing a lot. Yeah. And what about in the US?
Yeah, in the United States, I would say there's not a stereotype of women as engineers. Same thing, that people think that the engineers are the men. And not only are they the men, but they're the sort of nerdy men, right? The ones that wear glasses and have, don't talk to anyone, and it's a very specific stereotype, and a lot of women and girls, they don't think that's them, and so they are actually turned off from going into STEM because they think that that's not them, and they don't want to relate to that. And so one of our challenges in the US is how do we start to make it be interesting or make it look fun to be an engineer?
Yeah, I have a little different perspective because I grew up in India, and so I've seen the stereotypes in the US, and I completely agree with Laura about stereotypes of nerdy men being the people interested in STEM. In India, we did not have that kind of stereotype. As for kids, for young kids, we did not have a stereotype that, if you were interested in math, then you're probably, it's not normal or anything like that. I think the stereotype problem comes later on about the role of women in the workplace. Of course, there are stereotypes in India. India has very bad gender issues, right? So there are many stereotypes around women, what they should do, their role in the family, their role in the workplace, their role about how aggressive or how ambitious they can be. But as children, we were always encouraged to pursue STEM equally as the boys. There was no stereotype there. I see in the US, though I have a daughter, I see media maybe not doing enough to project a stereotype where you have a smart nerdy girl, right? Or somebody who is like very interested in STEM, but also a feminine, like brings out her feminine side, which I really appreciate, even as part of Tech Women. I think even me, I held that feminine part of myself inside, and then when I joined Tech Women and saw a lot of millennials, especially younger women, who are not afraid to be themselves and yet not conform to that male stereotype and just open up what they really are, I feel encouraged, and that's what I'm doing right now, is opening up my feminine side.
Yeah. As a kid, I was always encouraged by my parents to do STEM, but I didn't want to because of the stereotype. I didn't think it was for me. I really didn't like arithmetic, sort of math, and so I didn't believe that I could ever or would ever want to be in STEM. And when I got to college and I had to take a class that was applied math, that was showing how math shows up in the real world, and I thought, wow, this is incredible. This is for me. And so I actually ended up majoring in math. And so once I had done that, I was set down a career path that was STEM related.
I see that happening so much in the US, is that there is a critical time when 4th and 5th grade, if maybe girls are not taught math the way they like it or something, they find a big barrier, and after that they think, oh, we're not math people, and it's also regarded like, if you want to be an engineer, math is the basis, so
And why did you go into STEM? What was?
I really wanted to be I loved space. I was interested in the space sciences, in astronomy. So the first Indian man in space was my hero. So I thought I have to study about space and physics. And so that's how, but there was no physics undergrad degree in India. So I decided to do engineering because I had the grades for it. So that's how I pursued STEM.
And what challenges have you?
In fact, I didn't have choice, I think, because my father, so in my family we don't have boys, and my father and he's an engineer, and all his efforts in physics and math he would put into me, and I was the only family member who would be able to work with cameras, and when just the smart TVs appeared, I was the one who would switch it on and off and then do all the things, and so initially I was the engineer girl in the family, so pursuing further into engineering stuff would be normal for me. But in Kazakhstan, the entry level in to get into the STEM education is not hard. It's the opportunities are equal for boys and girls, and the challenges would start only afterwards, after you graduate. When you're trying to get the first job, that's the place where I've seen the kind of, not discrimination, but it would be harder to get the job because all your managers would be men, and and they would consider, of course, if you don't have an experience in this field, it's so hard to get your first job. And I think some part of gender issues there as well. And further, I didn't realize it, but I think I had kind of normalization of stereotype that women should be quiet on the table. And only after participating in Tech Women, I just realized that actually I was really quiet, and I was really shy to go over there and stand for my point of view. And that was the mentorship program that helped me to raise my voice. If I'm not agreeing within the table with other men, I would stand up, and physical also plays a role. Sometimes I'm just low height and people would just not notice me. So I think I became more confident after this trip to Silicon Valley, and I would raise my hand and stand and raise my voice.
So I think in the United States it's similar in some ways and different in others. So the challenge is not getting a job in STEM, because as a woman there's a lot of diversity initiatives that people want to hire the women. But once you're there, are you heard, and can you make your voice heard as a woman? And that's definitely harder. And one of the tips that I learned was, when you go into a room and you sit at a table, always take the seat at the center middle as a woman, so that you can be in the middle of the conversation, versus what would be normal is you might want to step back because you think, oh, I need to let somebody else do that.
When I hear about challenges here for kids in STEM in Central Asia, girls in STEM, something hits home to me, because when I grew up in India, I was also raised in a culture where you listen to your elders, you wait for direction, you wait to see, you seek permission for things. So when I first started my job in 1994 in Silicon Valley, I was actually first year I was given the performance feedback that I should think more independently, and that I should not seek to be told what to do, but think like my manager and think about what needs to be done and do it. So I took a long time, a year, to get that into me and tell myself that I have to think like my own manager and think about what to do and not wait for instructions. So that was a challenge to face.
Yeah.
So what's the message?
For Central Asian women, I think really, to me, I see that it's about that persistence, because it's the society is not set up yet for a lot of women in STEM, and so you have to have that persistence, and also understand that there are role models you can look at, and maybe it's not even in Central Asia, maybe it's outside, and that there are women that are balancing family and their career. Like myself, I have 3 kids, and yet I have a job and I'm in STEM, and it can be done if you set your mind to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my message would be that you should be like confident in yourself and value the thoughts and the ideas you have inside and bring it to the world.
Yeah, and my message will be the opportunities for tomorrow. I mean, I know you live in a culture that may seem to restrict you right now, but you can think about what else you can do. You can be more creative. You can think about the future, do as much as you can to maximize the opportunities that you have around you. There are programs like Technovation Challenge. Take advantage of any mentors or women role models or any support that you have around you and make the most of it, because the world is such a changing, transformational place. It has so much opportunity. You have to seize the moment and go for it.